Hey, John Nesbitt with the Customer Factory here, and I have been asked to go over what makes the service that we deliver to our clients different from what other marketing companies do out there. And this is something I actually need to be very clear about, because there is a massive difference, if only from just the way that we developed what it is we do, where I came from in marketing versus where other guys start up. And so I wanted to let you know what that is, so you can evaluate for yourself if we might make a good marketing partner or whatever, right? So just to quickly cover how I came into this whole business, I came from the top down. I actually was an agency owner. I owned an agency with some partners in Chicago, and we worked with Fortune 500 brands. We had clients like AT&T and Microsoft and Dell and Royal Cruise Lines and Viking River Cruises and a whole bunch of other things, mostly travel and electronics areas, although we did some other ones as well. So we had built, we were doing quite a lot of work with these clients, and we were operating at the level that they required to do. In that world, it's a very high level of professionalism and a very high level of expected results. You don't make promises that you can't keep, and you don't shine people on. You're straight with them. Otherwise, you get fired by the client or fired by the agency. But either way, you have to play it very straight, because there's big dollars involved and people really paying attention, right? After I cashed out of that, I went on and built a multi-million-dollar e-commerce business. I knew how to market. I knew what I was doing, so it wasn't that, I wouldn't say it was that hard, but I started as a small hobby business, and at one point it blew up to the point it was doing multi-million-dollar in sales. And so that was fun. And in that, I learned quite a bit about how to handle individual consumers and get them to take action and so forth. And that was great. During this time period, though, I wasn't doing a great job of taking care of my health. I'd let things slide pretty badly, and I had blood values that make your toes curl. And I had basically several different syndromes going on. And I was afraid they might name one after me. You know what that means, right? In the medical world, they name it after you, it's a bad one. Well, never quite got to that point, but I did get to the point where I was seeing a lot of doctors, and they're prescribing a lot of medications, and I was told I'd be on these medications for the rest of my life, and ever increasing dosages, and that eventually they'd add these other medications in to deal with the unfortunate side effects of the first medications. And you've heard this story before. It was going to a really dark, bad place. I ended up, luckily, running across a chiropractor friend. Actually became a friend of mine in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Had a good practice there, medically integrated practice. I didn't know what that was at the time, but I went up there, and in a remarkably short amount of time, turned around my health issues to the point where it was like I was 20 years younger. It was really incredible. I hadn't even realized how bad I'd gotten until it was handled. And I became a walking success story for this new holistic health method. I didn't even know what this was before. And I ended up saying, okay, you know what? It's going to be my thing to help bring this to the world. I want to help American healthcare. American healthcare is terrible. I've seen the stats on it. We spend the most money on healthcare in this country, and we get the worst result. That's bad. I'm not proud of that. I'm proud of my country, but I'm not proud of that number. So I would like to be part of the solution to that and help basically improve whatever American healthcare, or at least do my small bit to do it. And I think a big part of it is making this whole holistic alternative thing, which actually shouldn't be alternative, should be the main health thing, into the real thing. A purpose of medicine is, which is to help make people feel better and make them healthy, not just treat their symptoms forever for some pharmaceutical companies' benefit, right? Okay, I'll stay off that soapbox, because we all know that leads to a really long video. Anyway, I ended up working for the chiropractor who helped me, because I realized that even though I know how to do the marketing at this level and for this e-commerce thing, I don't know what makes healthcare marketing tick. I don't know what makes this whole thing tick. At the time, I didn't know what makes Facebook work. So I did a lot of work for him, and that's where I figured the whole thing out. Now, as I developed this whole procedure, which is now called the Market Domination Engine, which is basically a set of systems that work together to bring in a qualified flow of new patients who then are gotten to show up for their first appointment, right? You got to have a person actually show up, and the people who show up have to be eager for care and able to pay for it, able to obtain it, right? So when I developed these set of systems working with him, and said, okay, let's codify that. Now, by codify, I wrote it all down, right? I actually put it into a written form, so it was actually set. So it's like our procedures manuals now is this big old thick book of stuff that I've been writing continuously since that time. That was 2012 when I started doing that, okay? What I've noticed when I got out in the marketplace, I realized a lot of practice owners were hitting this wall against new patient marketing. It was a constant problem for them. You've got a practitioner who can heal people. He knows a lot of great stuff, but he's spending half his time worried about his marketing because he can't get the people in to help. He's worried about new patients coming in. Are they qualified? Can he get them? Are they going to come in for the right cases? Can he much less worry about just the care factor that he has to do there? So it's become a kind of a burden and a headache and really a source of anxiety for a lot of these guys. And that's just not right. So what I decided to do is that we need to fix that. You can't build a practice and try to change healthcare if you're always worried about new patients, or if the ones you're getting in are not qualified, or if you're getting a low number of leads, your marketing is failing, right? Or if the guys who are supposed to come in don't show for their appointments. You just can't build a practice that dominates an area. And I realized the only way we're going to achieve this goal of helping American healthcare is by every practitioner everywhere dominating his local area. We can win that way, right? A little grassroots kind of thing. So what I realized is that I need to create a standard of marketing that's a standard of care, right? It's got that parallel. Like, for example, chemistry has rules. You mix these two things together, you get that result. People don't realize that marketing, it's really mushy, but it does have the same type of rules. And if you've got a certain marketing channel, and based on your testing and observation over a period of time, you can actually discover what it is that works there. So I realized I needed to come up with a service for these practice owners that was as reliable and consistent as they needed it to be, so they could go ahead and not have to worry about the marketing, and they could go off and do other parts of their practice like ad services, or maybe just take care of the patients would be a good thing, right? So I want to take the burden away from the clients, from the practice owners, so they could go and do what they do, and then we would do what we do over here by deploying the market domination engine for them, right? Now, of course, the problem with this whole plan I had was there's a lot of confusing, conflicting information. Just in writing up what happened, how to do the Facebook marketing, other things really well, I had to overcome that confusion. But I also had to come up against what practitioners have run across, is that marketing companies were synonymous with liars. Like when marketing says, hey, I'm going to get you 30 new patients in 30 days. Yeah, when I actually surveyed practitioners, they basically said, yeah, that's a lie. Marketing companies lie to you. I thought, oh my gosh, this is terrible. How do I make this whole plan come together? How do I possibly overcome that? The easiest way to do it was getting results. So I started getting results. We put together the marketing domination engine and all its hundreds of pages of stuff, and I started deploying it for whatever chiropractors would trust me to do it. And I would start working with chiros who didn't have a real full practice. They were just barely making it, and we would actually see them stabilize and become the dominant player in their market. What? There was one of our earlier clients in Charleston, South Carolina. She came to me and she literally couldn't afford our initial fee, which is already super low because it was just me and one other person working in the company at the time. So it was a discount on that. And she'd had problems with her practice and her partner and the whole thing. Long story short, she needed help badly just to stay in business and make sure she paid her staff. Okay, good. So I was not going to let her wink out of existence. So we worked as hard as we could on her program. I worked as hard. It was just me, like I said, one assistant at the time. And next thing you know, she stabilized. And then she was at like 500,000 in revenue. And then she doubled to $1 million. Awesome. And then we kept going, maybe 6 or 8 months later, a year later, boom, I checked in her. She had doubled again from $1 million to $2 million. Oh my gosh, this is great. And I'm codifying. Remember, I'm codifying the engine this whole time. I'm codifying the market domination engine, writing it down, testing, working on stuff, observing, learning from other sources, whatever I could do. I checked her the last time I checked in with her, and that was a little while ago. She had doubled again on that from 2 to 4. Okay, 2 to 4 million in revenue. And she was dominating her area, her practice area. And that's what we're going for, right? I wanted her. So she is now helping a lot of people, right? She's no longer worried about where her next new patient is coming from. And this happens to a lot of our clients. They transform. They quit worrying about that because they know it's handled. In fact, they even stop worrying about other marketing channels besides the ones that we do for them because they know it's reliable month after month. And so they start adding services. They start looking at other types of patients they can go after because we can just redeploy additional marketing for them to bring in that type of case. Okay, so you don't treat neuropathy, but now you decide you want to start treating neuropathy? Good. As soon as you're ready, you let us know, and we'll get you those kind of cases in the door. And that's what we do. We deploy the campaigns for them that help them then grow their neuropathy area, or they grow their knee pain area, whatever it is they're adding on. They buy a new machine they want to use. They want to make sure the machine doesn't go out of use. Okay, good. We'll make sure that machine stays busy. That's our job, and we know what it is. So you treat the people, and we'll get them in there for you to treat, right? There's a lot of details that have gone into the entire system that make it very unique. I could go on about that, but the final result is it allows the practice owner to be a practice owner, to work on his business rather than worried about his new patient marketing all the time. And that is what ultimately helps change and save lives down at the nitty-gritty where it matters with the patients. That is what I'm most proud about. It's really nice to have a practice owner make more revenue, and that's great. And then nice to have these accounting numbers that make you feel good. But when you see that a guy has gone from 100 patient visits to 300 patient visits, and you see the success stories come out of his practice, and people are getting well, and they're getting put in charge of their own health care, and they're having success, and they're walking better, and they're spending time with their kids more, and they're just doing all the stuff that happy people do and sick people don't do. I'm so happy to be a part of that, a little bit of that, and to help them with that transformation. So anyway, that's what it's all about when it comes to what makes us different. Is we come from that point, and it's a complete codified system. When we learn something, we deploy it for all clients. So you have to realize at this point we're testing. They say that if you want good marketing, you do testing, A/B testing, right? We don't do A/B testing. We do A, B, C, D, E, F, G testing all the way down to double Z, because I have all these clients running all the time. And if we learn something in Idaho, we can deploy it in Cleveland, right? And that's just how this works. So using that ability to test at that level, we're always on the cutting edge of what's working the best. And that's how we keep our clients basically doing their jobs and helping their patients while we do our jobs, and make sure that the phone keeps ringing and that people are still reaching for service, and the ones who show up are qualified and the ones that you want to see for the cases you want to see. Anyway, so that's the simplicity of it all. I hope you found this interesting, and I appreciate you watching the video all the way to the end like this. And hopefully we can help you as a patient, as a client for our services. The market domination engine, it improves every year, improves every month. And I like to make sure we put it together, put it to use for you if it's at all something you need. All right. Thank you very much. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.